What's up, everybody? My name is Ben Delosier, and welcome to the All In Team 5 Steps to the Peak Performing Workplace. Super excited to have you all here. And what I want you to know right off the bat is that I've packed this presentation with tons of value so that you could be walking away on the other side feeling like you have some powerful tools that you can start implementing today to take your team to that next level and to get them to that place where they're having that much more success in delivering on the results that you're looking for. So I want to welcome you again, and I want to jump right in so we can get to the good stuff for you all. So let's start off by just talking about who's this presentation for. Well, this is for business owners, managers, CEOs, and any other team leaders who have tried everything that they've got and still have a stuck team that's missing deadlines and underperforming. It's for leaders who have a team caught in their own drama that is leading to a total breakdown. This is for folks who are fed up with excuses and need real results from their team now. And finally, this is for leaders who feel their team is plateaued and are ready to shake things up and re-energize their people. If any of this is you, you're in the right place, and we're super excited to have you here. So let's look at what you can expect from this time together. In the next 60 minutes, we're going to be covering how to annihilate cycles of miscommunication and confusion in your team so that you can fast track the results that you need. We're going to look at how to jumpstart the productivity you want while massively decreasing your stress and that of your employees. We're going to be looking at the simple trick to retaining your peak performers and even creating more of them, even if you have folks that are currently on the verge of leaving. We're going to look at how to make accountability and follow through the minimum standard for employees and even get them to the place where they're craving accountability and ready to raise the bar to full-on, energized, and proactive participation in the growth of your company. And we're going to look at how to do all of this without having to run around and put out fires, check in constantly on people to make sure they're following through, or have the same conversations over and over again to keep people on task. And so my promise to you is that by the end of this time together, by the end of this session, you will have a step-by-step strategy to creating a peak performing team that essentially runs itself without missing a deadline. Is that something you all be in for? Awesome. So what I want to do now then is I want to just jump into a few house rules. And these are here just to help you leverage fully the tools that we're going to be engaging here in this session so that you can get the maximum benefit of them. And so here's what I want you to understand. This process I'm going to be walking you through, it's simple, but it's not easy. And the payoff is huge and long lasting if you're willing to see it through. So you need to understand that there is no teamwork silver bullet. And we are not in the business of patching leaky ships. We're in the business of overhauling. We are here to deliver on real solutions and real results. And so that takes work, and we don't want to pretend it doesn't. But what we want to be giving you is a roadmap that makes sure that every ounce of effort that you expend in your business and with your team is paying off in the results that you need, that you're streamlining it and getting there as quickly as possible. So there's work, and we're going to give you the tools here that's going to help you get there as quickly as possible and to do it in a way where there's staying power, where you don't have to worry down the road about having to do this all over again because it didn't stick the first time around. And so what that means though is if you can't show up with 100% commitment to doing the work and to do something different than you've ever done before, I cannot help you and these tools cannot help you. Your success is completely up to you. And if you're willing to show up with that, this system is going to pay off for you in massive ways and you're going to get amazing results. And that's why we're here today. Sound good to everybody? Great. So what I want to do now is I want to ask you a few questions. And what I want to ask you is, does this sound like you? Are you completely fed up with having the same conversations over and over again without seeing any change in behaviors and patterns in your people? Do you find yourself wishing that your employees would simply act like the adults they are and take responsibility for themselves? Do you feel completely and utterly drained, having your time and energy held hostage by the need to constantly be putting out fires in your workplace? Do you find yourself sitting in meetings, feeling like every minute is time wasted spinning your wheels without getting any traction, no matter how hard you try? Do you have mornings where you pray for just one more minute to sit in the parking lot, knowing that the first step you take into your office means another day of utter exhaustion where everyone expects you to solve their problems? Do you find yourself lying awake at night, constantly replaying over and over in your mind the anxiety of your bottom line and how you're going to get your team to meet it? Do you find yourself desperately trying to hang on to that passion that first brought you to your field, but secretly fear that it's going to slip away through your fingers and you'll lose it forever? And finally, do you feel like no matter what you do, you're going to be stuck here, and that the dynamic of your team is ultimately going to be the death of your business and the failure of your dream? If that's you, I want you to know you are here in the right place. And we are here to get you to the other side. But what you need to understand is, as real as those things are, none of those things are actually the real problem. The real problem is you haven't made what I like to call the shifts. And that's why we're here today, to pull the curtain back on these 5 shifts that have the ability to carry you over to the other side. And here's the power of these shifts. Here's what you can expect. Once you have made these 5 shifts that I'm going to be walking you through during this presentation, you're going to end up having a team that will be firing on all cylinders, meeting deadlines without the office politics or the time-wasting drama. You're going to be able to walk through the doors of your office every day, feeling an overwhelming sense of pride in what you've created, the team that you've brought together, and the rock star results being achieved. You're going to be able to go home each day feeling like your time and your energy was well utilized, being a force of celebration and inspiration within your company, instead of having to have your attention constantly being hijacked by what's not working. You're going to feel the passion for your work come rushing back to you, and in an even bigger way than it ever existed before, as you watch yourself and your team achieve new heights. You're going to feel reassured. You're going to rest assured that your business is thriving, that quality work is producing exceptional results and a strong bottom line, and that this is happening without you always needing to be there to put out the fires. You're going to be able to spend time with your family because you will not need to be constantly checking your phone or answering emails, checking in to make sure that things are running smoothly. You're going to know that they are. You're going to know all of these things because you've created this rock solid foundation, this culture of excellence that works with or without you being there in the office. Is that something you all want to step into? Awesome. So here's what I want to do next then. I wanted to share a quick bit about who I am and where this information came from. So I've spent over the last 10 years working with teams in all different sectors: education, nonprofit, small business, corporate business. And my focus has been on facilitating processes that bring out the highest levels of performance through the creation of a workplace culture that is irresistible, that draws out the very best in its people. So for the last 7 years, I've been working with an established team building and leadership development business and growing that business, growing it to a staff of 25 facilitators that I was supervising, bringing the profitability of the organization up by 70%, and doing all this while retaining all of our core staff over the course of those 7 years, with the exception of 2 folks who left the business because they're moving out of the area for family reasons. Something I'm really particularly proud of. And so earlier this year, I transitioned from running this business back to my passion, which is working with people, working with groups, getting in it with them to facilitate that transformation that gets them to the place of feeling amazing about what they're doing and who they're doing it with. And the way that I do that, I specialize in helping teams have the courageous conversations that allow them to move from their breakdown to their breakthrough. And so what happened was over this time doing this work, I had the opportunity to work with countless teams and with some amazing leaders, VPs of higher education institutions, CEOs of corporate businesses, folks who were the superintendents of school districts, people who were running small nonprofit organizations. And it gave me an opportunity to start pulling apart all these ingredients of what makes up teams. What leads to team success? How did they get there? What are the obstacles and challenges they face along the way? What are those things that cause them to arrive at a total breakdown? And what does it take to bust through that and to get back on track so that people can be delivering on the success that they were showing up for in the first place? But what I want you to understand is that so much of this information comes from my experience of working alongside some of the amazing people that I supervised over the last several years and experiencing some of those incredible successes together, hitting some of those challenge points, having to sit and have some of these difficult conversations, and being in the place where we didn't always get it right every time, where I didn't get it right every time. But the thing is, I didn't ask that of my people, nor did I ask it of myself to get it right every single time. What I asked was for people to show up and to know that I was going to show up and that we would be in it and that we would be in it together and that we were committed to seeing whatever it was through to the other side. And that was our rallying point. That who we were together and what we believed in as an organization, what we were bringing through our work was our rallying point. And so I'm excited to be bringing these 5 shifts to you today and to be sharing with you the tools that I learned. And one of the main reasons for that is one of the most glaring things that I found in working with teams and organizations is that most organizations don't realize they're actually bleeding out their most valuable resources and assets. And that's because they're not leveraging one of the lowest cost, highest benefit, cause and effect relationships in the business world. And that is the one between a vibrant culture fueled by belief and how that ties directly to your deliverables and your bottom line. And so what I want to do right now is I want to share a couple quick numbers with you that demonstrate this point really vividly. So Gallup poll has found consistently over the last several years in a row that engaged workers only constitute about 33% of the national workforce. That means about 3/4 of the workforce are sitting in their roles right now, disengaged and not showing up with the fullness of what they have to offer. And this is critical because Gallup also found that for every $10,000 spent on staff salary, $3,400 is lost to the lack of engagement. That's a third. That's the equivalent of a third of what you were spending on staff salary. It's huge. Disengaged employees are 3.6 times more likely to leave. And this is critical because there have been numerous studies about staff retention and the cost of replacing somebody. And they've shown that the cost is 30 to 150% of an employee's salary. That means that if you have an employee that you are spending $40,000 on a year, at minimum, it's going to cost